That's no moon.
Clear Bay 327. We are opening the magnetic field.
Hello there, and welcome to Docking Bay 327. Today I want to share a couple of things with you. First, a huge shout out to Sketchy Guy for making me into Qui-Gon Tony. This guy is an amazing artist, and I will put some of his links in the description below so you can check out some of his work. Thanks a lot, Cameron, I appreciate it. Secondly, it's time for an upgrade. That's right, I've got a panel here that I need to do some work on, and I'm going to take you with me. You get to see some of behind the scenes inner workings of one of my panels. So let's get started. Here's the control panel we'll be upgrading. Behind the grate at the bottom is where I store my modem switch, speakers, and docking station for my work computer. A few months back, I noticed that my speakers stopped working, so I had to use my built-in audio on my laptop for meetings, and it was not ideal. So I did a little investigating, and it seems I had some pesky Minox chewing on the power cables. Dank ferric. Guess it's time to do some repairs on this old bucket of bolts. I try and use mechanical connections as often as I can, so when things break or need tweaking, as will inevitably happen, I can simply remove a few bolts to access the inner components. I replaced the speakers and the docking station for another docking station that had speakers built in. Once that was done, I decided to replace the existing hard drive motor with this one that has a variable speed controller with this potentiometer already soldered onto it. I thought it would be cool to add some movement to the panel rather than just a static motor. I did some testing with the Arduino Uno and found that the 5-volt pin runs the motor just fine. And since all the existing LEDs are connected to pins 3 through 12, I wouldn't have to rewire anything to add this to it. I began by using a Forstner bit to drill a hole for the wiring to go through. Then I drilled a hole for the knob as well. Because the panel is a 1/2 inch thick, I had to use my Dremel to route out a notch in the back for the speed controller circuit board to fit and give me enough room to put the knob on the other side. I then hot glued the circuit board in place. I used pocket screws to mount the new motor to the front of the panel. I chose pocket screws because they have a square insert rather than a Phillips head, which we all know doesn't exist in a galaxy far, far away. The next upgrade I wanted to make was adding a couple of red LEDs to backlight all the wiring behind the grate. I simply added them to the existing LED wiring that I had connected to a 12-volt power supply. Now we're ready to put the panel back in place. Then feed the docking cable back into the panel until it's time to connect my laptop for my day job. As an added touch, I wanted to weather this awesome decal from Ado at Fabworks to give it a worn look and not so shiny. 400 grit sandpaper lightly on a few spots did the trick. I also decided to add more pinstriping tape around the decal box to finish it all off. And here is the final result. So there you go, a little behind the scenes look at one of my main control panels. Did a little repair work, made a few upgrades, and since this panel is the one that I look at most of the time when I'm working during the day, those few little things really make a difference for me. So I hope you liked it. I have a special Halloween edition planned, so I'm actually going to take next week off so that I can spend a full 2 weeks on the editing to make sure that I have time to finish it. So be sure to tune in on the 28th for that episode. And in the meantime, build with what you know and figure out the rest.